You may now begin your presentation.
At Enactus Ottawa, we believe in the power of social innovation to transform lives and create a more sustainable future. Our team designs and builds social enterprises as a tool to make a difference across our country.
We believe that our nation's issues require long-term solutions and so that they can create sustainable impact for decades to come.
When we see a problem, we think big. Our team sets ambitious goals, and when we do, we persevere and make a commitment to turn our ideas into a reality.
That's why we work each and every day to create projects that use innovative technologies to generate social, economic, and environmental impact, making a difference in the lives of Canadians today while creating a better world for them tomorrow.
Today, we'll show you how we create this positive change through Grocer and Poly, two projects that use the power of social enterprise to take action against some of our country's most complex problems.
Canada is home to nearly 10 million square kilometers of land, from the Rocky Mountains to the Arctic tundra to the Great Lakes. As a result, there are nearly 300 northern and remote communities, many of which are far out of reach of any road, only accessible by air or sea. Being that isolated presents unique challenges that people have been facing for generations.
We began working with northern communities 4 years ago, when we traveled to Iqaluit Nunavut to do a workshop series on entrepreneurship. Since then, we've been working together with these communities to address some of the challenges that they face every day.
One of the most severe problems we saw was food insecurity. The UN defines this as the lack of consistent access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food. In northern Canada, the climate makes growing their own food impossible, so communities have to depend on long, unreliable supply chains to ship in food that is often already rotten by the time it reaches store shelves.
Because of this, the food that is available is often overpriced, which poses an even greater challenge to these communities that already have unemployment rates up to twice the national average. Produce is not only rotten, it's almost completely unaffordable, leaving nearly 50% of households hungry every day.
We quickly realized the two root causes of this issue. These communities can't reliably import fresh foods, and they don't have a way to grow it on their own.
So that's the question we asked ourselves. How can these communities grow their own food? And how can they do it in a way that can actually feed the entire community on a commercial scale?
We began researching new and innovative technologies, and we found hydroponics. This technology gives plants the four things they need to grow: water, CO2, nutrients, and light, all within a controlled indoor environment. These plants don't need sunlight or soil, so a northern community can consistently grow food year-round right in their own backyard.
We partnered with Vertical Harvest Hydroponics, an Alaskan hydroponics company who has more than 10 years of growing experience. With their technology and our extensive experience working with Canada's northern and remote communities, we developed a solution that would make it easy for communities to take control of their food supply.
So we created Grocer, an innovative social enterprise that manufactures commercial-grade hydroponic systems that allow communities to grow their own food locally. Our hydroponic farms are housed inside retrofitted 40-foot shipping containers, allowing us to grow up to 12,000 pounds of produce year-round, all in temperatures as cold as minus 52 degrees Celsius.
Each one of our Grocer systems is purchased, owned, and operated by a local entrepreneur or organization. Using our system, operators create a sustainable business selling the produce to their community. Our team's implementation process works in 4 stages.
The first step starts once we identify a customer who is interested in a Grocer system. We work with each local operator to conduct market research and a feasibility assessment to determine how their Grocer system could best be set up to benefit their community.
We then work with our operators to build a business around their Grocer system. We help them determine a target market and develop sales channels, whether it be wholesaling to retailers or selling directly to the community, all at prices that guarantee profitability for operators and affordability for consumers.
Next, we ship them their system fully assembled and ready to grow. Our systems come equipped with an automation system that controls the internal environment and adjusts growing conditions to optimal levels every 4 seconds. That means we can teach operators how to run their farm with just 2 days of training.
After about 6 weeks, operators are ready for their first harvest. Our systems grow 400 to 450 units of produce per week, ready to be made available to the community at up to a 53% price decrease, driving down the price of items like lettuce from $7 to $3.45. We support operators from their first harvest and beyond, helping them to sustain and grow their business.
To ensure that Grocer itself was sustainable for our team, we developed 3 revenue streams. The first is earned upon the sale of each system, which is sold at $180,000 at 34% margins. We then charge a consulting fee for training and on-site installation. And finally, as part of our ongoing support package, we've created a recurring revenue stream through software subscriptions that allows our team to remotely monitor and automate each system via satellite.
Operators earn up to $50,000 of profit per year for only 15 hours of work per week, incentivizing them to sustain and grow their projects.
We knew that to truly empower communities across Canada, we needed to make our systems affordable for any community. To do this, we created 3 distinct funding channels for our operators. We walked them through grant applications, helping them identify prospective grants and working alongside them to write, revise, and submit their application. We also work with an extensive network of financial institutions who provide our customers with the capital they need to get started. Lastly, we've developed a relationship with RBC to allow our customers to lease our systems instead of having to buy them outright.
Grocer addresses every aspect of the triple bottom line. It is profitable and creates job opportunities, alleviates food insecurity, and has significant environmental benefits.
Our systems operate using 91% less water, and they require 99% less land than conventional agricultural methods. We've also reduced shipping distances from the Canadian average of 2,000 kilometers to just a few kilometers or less, cutting transportation emissions by 99% and reducing produce spoilage dramatically.
This year, we took Grocer and made it a reality and brought fresh, affordable food to a community that needed it most. Churchill, Manitoba, the polar bear capital of the world. Churchill is dependent on a rail line for their food, and last spring, this railway suffered damage from severe flooding that still has not been repaired.
With no rail line, the community had to rely on planes to fly in their foods, which is 3 times more expensive and 5 times more polluting than shipping by rail, making it nearly impossible for the families of Churchill to find affordable food. This is just one example of the harsh realities of living with northern food insecurity, where food is always an uncertainty.
The Churchill community was in crisis, and Grocer had the solution. This past November, Grocer delivered its very first system to the Churchill Northern Study Center, meaning that fresh, affordable food was now in the reach for Churchill's residents. In just 5 months, the system has grown over 10,000 servings of vegetables for the families of Churchill.
The Northern Study Center also hired Carly, who is now managing and operating their system. Carly has been supplying Grocer produce to 4 local retailers and also started a brand new venture called Rocket Greens, which offers produce on a subscription basis to the Churchill community. The program already delivers to 30 families and is still growing.
Regardless of rail service or air service or weather, it is a lush green garden in the middle of winter. It's fresher than probably anything that Churchill has really ever been experienced with in the past. I literally pick it today and you get it later today.
By being able to produce fresh, healthy vegetable options all year round, it just is an instant answer to our food security challenges.
Isn't that wonderful? Great endeavor. Basil even.
It's just remarkable that we can get this up here. This little one ate two heads of lettuce?
Actually, 3 heads of lettuce in total, and I had to go buy more.
I've been looking for a little bit of meaning in my work, and I've sort of found it here.
Carly and the Northern Study Center have been so pleased with the profitability and impact that their system has had that we're already planning to install another system to grow their business.
Grocer has had an incredible impact on the lives of Churchill's residents and will continue to put fresh, affordable food on their plates for decades to come. And Churchill isn't the only community growing Grocer produce.
We also brought Grocer to urban environments. Our second system in Ottawa is drastically reducing the volatility of urban produce prices. And we even had one of our neighbors stop by our Ottawa system to give us a hand.
A couple of weeks ago, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau spent time with our team to plant some of the first few seeds. Here's what those plants look like today.
In just the last year, we've come a long way. We launched our first 2 farms in Churchill and Ottawa, created 8 jobs, and diverted over 95,000 liters of water.
We received news coverage from outlets like CBC The National and Al Jazeera, and were named one of Fast Company's 2018 World-Changing Ideas.
And we even had the opportunity to pitch on Dragon's Den, so make sure to tune in next season to see the results.
Through our comprehensive approach, we've determined how to achieve sustainable scalability, allowing anyone to grow their own food locally. Having shown the impact of our systems in Churchill and Ottawa, we wanted to expand Grocer to more communities facing food insecurity. We have 8 more Grocer systems confirmed to be manufactured this year, enabling communities across Canada and beyond to grow fresh, affordable food.
Daniel has already confirmed $350,000 in funding for his grocer project in Norway House, a Cree First Nation in Manitoba. He'll be providing fresh produce to local retailers year-round and creating permanent jobs for the community.
And we've even secured our first university operator. We're working with the University of Ottawa's Food Services Department and Chartwells, one of Canada's largest food distributors, to purchase a system to stabilize food prices for students like us.
We also secured the federal government as a future customer, having been qualified for the Build in Canada Innovation Program. And we're now negotiating a $500,000 contract.
And we're excited to be shipping our first system abroad to Ben in the northernmost inhabited place on the globe, the Norwegian island of Svalbard, cutting wasteful supply chains and providing fresh food to one of the most isolated communities on the planet.
In the next year, our 10 systems will grow 120,000 pounds of produce, save over 6 million liters of water, divert over 60 tons of CO2, and generate over $2 million in revenue.
With Grocer, we've learned how to achieve our goals no matter how ambitious they may be. We created a project that not only empowers communities across Canada and beyond to take control of their food supply, but do so in a way that is economically viable, socially responsible, and environmentally sustainable.
But at the core of our Enactus team is the drive to keep innovating and always asking ourselves, what's next? We've shown you what we've accomplished with Grocer. Now, we'd like to show you what's up and coming for our team and how we're working to tackle another significant challenge facing our nation and our planet.
Plastic is everywhere. Every year, 300 million tons of plastic are produced globally, with only 9% of it ever being recycled. The other 91% piles up in our landfills and pollutes our oceans.
I think 50 years from now, what will happen is people will be digging out landfills and taking out product to recycle, and they will think we're crazy people of dumping things in landfills.
It's possible by 2050 we will have more plastics in our ocean than fish.
Countries need to improve their landfill and recycling, especially in developing regions, but that takes time and money. In the meantime, millions of tons of plastic are floating and sinking into every ocean on the planet.
The plastic we throw out every day, it's not trash. It's a material with an abundance of potential. So how can we give a second life to this plastic and empower any community to address their plastic waste through entrepreneurial action?
Just a few months ago, we asked ourselves these questions. Now, we've laid the foundation for a project called Poly that can help communities across the world tackle the plastic waste crisis.
We started looking for innovative solutions that could help us tackle this problem, researching ways that we could turn discarded plastic into something useful. We partnered with a professional prototyping workshop in Ottawa, and with them, developed and manufactured our very own small-scale recycling systems that turn discarded plastic waste into brand new products.
With these systems, we saw an opportunity to not only eliminate existing plastic waste, but use that waste as a tool for communities to create their very own social enterprises. We developed a model to make Poly not only a positive environmental initiative, but also a job creator and profit generator.
Poly systems operate using a 3-stage process of collection, production, and selling, creating employment opportunities every step of the way. First, plastic is collected from the community via designated collection points or community partnerships to be used as raw inputs for production.
Next, it's brought to a Poly production facility, where using our shredder and molder machines, plastic is broken down into small pieces, then melted and shaped into a product using interchangeable molds. Our Poly systems are capable of producing anything from flower pots to furniture, all out of 100% recycled plastic.
Operators can earn revenue through selling the products, as well as through plastic collection and pickup services, making plastic not only a raw material, but also a source of revenue.
Each Poly system is sold at $7,500 and can be owned by a group or individual in the community. Operators can be anyone from nonprofits to local institutions or independent entrepreneurs. The systems are completely modular so that they can be customized to meet the needs of virtually any community.
Using only one shredder and molder, each Poly system can divert over 300,000 water bottles worth of plastic annually. That's enough to stretch to the top of Mount Everest over 7 times.
In starting this project, we know that to be able to teach others how to run a Poly system, we need to become experts in running one ourselves. So we've launched a pilot in our home city of Ottawa.
For our pilot, we're working with Old Navy, who throw out every plastic hanger that comes into their store after only using it once. Using those hangers, we'll be creating waste bins and selling them to the University of Ottawa for use in their new buildings. We're also prototyping affordable eyeglass frames for underprivileged youth, creating products that not only generate environmental impact, but social benefits as well. And I'm actually wearing a pair of them right now.
Our machines are simple and affordable and can be set up in virtually any community. We're not the only ones who think so. We're proud to announce that our team was recently awarded $150,000 through the Aviva Community Fund to grow and scale our project.
In the next year, we'll be bringing poly to communities that need it most, northern communities like Iqaluit. Here, plastics are rarely recycled because the city is too small and too isolated for a traditional recycling plant.
In the upcoming months, we'll be working to launch a pilot with the local high school, who's looking to create runners for traditional Inuit sleds called kamutiks. We're welcoming their students and faculty to Ottawa this June for a training day.
This year, Poly exceeded our expectations. In just a few months, we developed and manufactured innovative plastic recycling machines, launched a pilot, secured our first operator, and raised over $200,000, setting ourselves up to tackle the plastic waste crisis across our country and our planet.
And this is what can be accomplished when students use entrepreneurship to invest in communities and create sustainable businesses that empower individuals and protect our planet.
With Grocer, we're growing fresh produce in places no one thought possible.
And with Poly, we're laying the foundation for communities across the globe to give a second life to their plastic waste.
But Grocer and Poly weren't all we accomplished. This year, our team of 95 members contributed over 33,000 volunteer hours, raised over $1 million in revenue, and ran 6 projects that generated real, sustainable impact.
Through Sprout, we provided access to fresh foods for 10,000 people in Ottawa food deserts.
With Project Fly, we've taught financial literacy and soft skills to over 500 youth.
We ran Legacy, Canada's largest student-run entrepreneurship conference, impacting over 700 people.
And through Tower Gardens, we empowered students in Northern Canada to provide over 5,000 meals to their school.
We saw complex problems in our society
and designed innovative solutions that empower communities across the globe to build a better world for us all.
These are solutions for today and tomorrow. And we are Enactus U Ottawa.
We will now begin the question and answer period.
Hi. In your annual report, you note you will generate $2 million of revenues. What did you generate over this past year? Second part of the question is, you note your per unit economics of based off the $180,000 sale price. Did you realize those unit economics on the 2 units you did sell?
So far this year, we've generated over $1 million in revenue for our team. $400,000 of that was for Grocer.
Well, it was actually $600,000. So $400,000 was the sales, and then we also had a variety of different grants, subsidies, and that sort of thing for the Grocer project. Yeah.
She's the accountant. To answer your second question, we've realized that. So that's prorated for a year, but we've actually achieved those results for our systems.
How much power is used per pound of food that you create?
Yep. I'm not quite sure on a per pound basis, but I'll answer your question for the entire system. It uses 105 kilowatt hours a day on average, which is only about 4 Canadian homes worth. So we usually plug it into the grid because local grids can take that, but we also have solar options as an add-on that our customers can implement in their systems.
Hi, great job today. How many modular food systems could you build in a year? What's your maximum output at this stage? And the second part of the question is, what's involved in training someone to run it? How long does that take?
Mm-hmm. So currently with our facility, we can build 96 systems in a year. We've got a sister plant as well that we've toured and is ready to come online when we're ready to scale, and that can build double that. So that's currently where we're at. The training, to answer the second part of your question, takes only about 5 days on site. We go over everything from how to run the business, so basic operations, troubleshooting the system. We do some botany courses, so how to actually grow the plants and spot diseases and that kind of thing. And that's what we go over with them, as well as food safety.
Hi, two quick ones. I might have missed it. Can you just talk a bit about what one Grocer unit yields in terms of households fed or whatever metric you use? And then secondly, could you say something about the partnership with, I think the company was called Vertical Harvest? What's their role in the technology and the establishment?
Mm-hmm. So each of the systems grow enough food to feed 108 people, 5 servings of veggies every single day throughout the entire year, whether it's -59 like it was in Churchill this winter or +40. So that's no matter the weather. The second part of your question to do with vertical harvest, they were the botany experts in Alaska that had been growing for 10 years, so our team tapped them and hired them to develop our system. We have a licensing relationship with them. So for each of the grocer systems that we build, they make a small royalty on the sale of that system. They continue to be involved from the continuation of our R&D program. So they're involved insofar as they help us improve our systems when we go back to them with feedback from our customers.
Thank you very much for a great presentation. Are you familiar with Arctic Co-op? And if you are, have you considered partnering with them?
We're very familiar with Arctic co-ops. So we've had a really close working relationship with that specific retailer, as well as the other retailer in the north. Have great relationships with them where we're actually working on a project with them as we speak for the coming year. But that being said, Arctic co-ops and the other retailer have been extremely pleased with the quality of the produce that they're buying from our customers, and they're able to share sales data from their stores. So before we even enter a community, we know exactly how much the Arctic co-op is ordering, what price points they're ordering at, and we can tell within a few minutes whether it's economically feasible to set up a grocery system in that community.
The smart in this room is intoxicating without the vodka. Great presentation. Yeah. So listen, I got a question. In these rural areas and in these, very, very, hard areas to get to through transportation, my question is based on the maintenance behind these units. And what's involved in that on a regime level, and if your local entrepreneur is having issues with those systems, who is qualified in those areas to actually work on them?
Yeah. So the first thing to know about the north is that there's no local Home Depot that you can just walk down the street and go buy spare parts. So the operators, or the way that we designed our system, was that an operator had to have no background in botany, no technical expertise starting out. So for example, we ship every system with a spare part of everything in the system, and there's no direct wiring needed. So if a pump burns out, for example, which it may after 10 years, you just replace it. It's a 30-second swap out. So it's very, very basic. The system is built to be rugged, very rudimentary, and easily replaced. But that being said, our maintenance program is a weekly checklist for the customer, a monthly checklist, and a quarterly.
Your time has expired. Judges and guests, please help me in thanking the team from University of Ottawa.